Hello, I'm Cheryl Doss of the Institute of World Mission at Andrews University, and I'm visiting the Northern Asia Pacific Division's Mission Museum. I'd like to introduce to you a beautiful display here that is entitled Missionary Begets Missionaries. And it shows a family tree of a number of missionaries who've had significant role here to play here in the Northern Asia Pacific. The family of Ole and Teresa Doss had 5 children, and of those 5 children, 4 were missionaries. For the most time spent here in Northern Asia Pacific was John Doss, married to Olga Osnes. They came to China in 1919 and were very active in the building of hospitals. Olga raised a lot of money for Dr. Miller's hospitals, and they stayed there until they had to leave in the 1950s because of the communist takeover. John's sister, Bertha Doss, married Alfred Youngberg. They served for a number of years in India. And Alfred's family, there were 3 children. His brother, Gus Youngberg, and Norma went to Malaysia in 1919 also, and stayed there until the Second World War, in which Gus was interned and later died in internment. Their sister, Cora Ruth Youngberg, married Theodore Oswald. Now, to go through this whole family tree and see all the missionaries would take quite some time, but let me just point out some significant ones for the Northern Asia Pacific Division. We have one of Gus and Norma Youngberg's sons, Robert Youngberg, served in Borneo. Another son served in Thailand. And you will see that a number of children of Alfred served in South America and Inter-America. Of John's other siblings, Gordon Doss served in Trinidad, and then his children and grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren, are serving in Africa. Now this family married other Adventist families, and as you can see here, included are some families that again served in Africa and Asia. Ralph Watts, who served in Korea, married into this family and his children became part of the family because his son Paul, who served in Japan's son is Dwight Nelson, married Karen Oswald, who is a member of the Youngberg family. So it's very interesting to see how over the years many missionaries have come through this family tree. Now, John and Olga Doss, I'd like to talk a little bit more about. John Doss did quite a bit of pioneering work in the northern part of China. And one day, he and a co-worker went to a village where Christianity had never come before. And they brought the Adventist message there, and after a number of months, the entire village came to Christ. And they brought to him their precious Buddha that had been in the village for many, many centuries. And they gave it to him and said, "No longer do we need this Buddha." And this has been in the family for many years and now resides here in the Mission Museum. Another interesting thing is that when John Doss was on furlough one year, he saw some big panels that his brother Gordon, the missionary from Trinidad, had painted to show all the prophecy, the beasts and so on of Daniel and Revelation. And so he asked his brother Gordon if he could also get a set made. And here is a set, a few representatives of the panels made for John Doss and brought to China to show the beasts of Daniel. And you can see 4 of them there. These survived the war. John himself, John and Olga, were interned in Shanghai. John was miraculously healed of a brain tumor during the time they were in the concentration camp, but his health was broken and he died shortly after the end of the Second World War. So we see that when a family decides to serve Christ and shares that with their children, they multiply their labors through the generations. And that's the way mission really occurs. If we can share with our children and our children share with theirs and we share with those around us, mission grows. And so I would appeal to you that you would also determine to share Christ within your family, with your neighbors and friends, and support mission, because that is what the church is all about. If we would all be engaged in the mission of the church, if we would all share Jesus' love within our families and with our neighbors and friends, then Jesus would soon return. May that be soon.